For you is I read about a lawsuit filed against Harvard by Asian Americans in 2014 and 15, saying that basically Asians are held to a higher standard when being considered for admissions to Harvard and other Ivy League schools.
Yes.
The stat shows that Asians have to earn 140 points more than whites on SATs, while they don't show any obvious lacking of extracurriculars or leadership experiences. So do you think that's somehow an institutional racism against Asian Americans? And is that an irony where affirmative action really hurts a minority group, which is Asian Americans?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the short answer is yes. I think affirmative action is a racist policy in its general notion. And I think that it does particularly affect Asian Americans. For a long time, it affected Jews actually in the same way. There were quotas on Jews at major universities because Jews were outperforming the typical. And therefore, Harvard Law School, for a long time, had quotas on the number of Jews that would be allowed into Harvard. So yes, Asians, by virtually all the studies that I've seen, are expected to outperform other people on the SATs in order to go to the same schools. And income doesn't seem to matter. I remember when I was in college, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about an Asian American kid who grew up in a single parent family, very impoverished, had SAT points 200 points high, scores 200 points higher than a black kid similarly situated. The black kid got in, the Asian didn't. And that is institutional racism, because the assumption is that if you're Asian, you must have grown up more prosperous or in a more solid two-parent family. And of course, that's nonsense. Everybody's an individual. So yes, I think that, when I gave my intersectional hierarchy, Asians fall very low on the intersectional hierarchy, specifically because Asian Americans have done incredibly well as a general group. Now, obviously, there are distinctions between Asian communities. Not all people from the general continent of Asia have equal levels of success in the United States. There are significant differences even between Koreans and Chinese and Vietnamese. But with all of that said, overall, Asians are being discriminated against in the educational system, and that is racism.